Hey, everybody, welcome to Packaging Today. If you are watching this, it's likely on YouTube if you're watching us live. If you're catching this as a recording on LinkedIn, let me tell you what's happening. So, we are an absolute disaster of a mess over here. Avelio Matos is on assignment deep in the heart of China and has no access to much or very good internet. And normally he hosts this. So if you're missing the Office inspired intro live, we do not have it. If you're not seeing us on LinkedIn live, it's because StreamYard said we're not connecting to LinkedIn right now. My bad, y'all. If you're watching this recorded and it's on LinkedIn, hello. I'm Adam Peak, host of the People of Packaging podcast, and I'm joined by
Cory Connors, the host of the Sustainable Packaging podcast.
Yes, co-host of the Sustainable.
Yes. We've decided that we're both hosts.
Okay.
Yeah. We're elevating both of our positions as hosts.
You're removing the co.
And yeah. We do it together, but we're both hosts.
It's true. Yeah. Are there ever any episodes where just you or just Brody will just do the interview?
Yeah, I've had a few where it's just me, and we will do some where it's just Brody interviewing someone else or having her own topic. She's got a lot of great ideas and has already elevated the show in so many ways. I'm excited to have her as a partner.
Well, we all knew that was going to happen the minute anybody met Brody. It was like, oh, this show's going to get way better now. Yeah. Finally, geez.
I know, right?
I need to find another host, a second host in my life.
Yeah, you should.
It's a good idea. Well, we've got a whole bunch of things to cover, so let's get into it. I think first, what we should start with here, and what we plan on going through, we've got a half an hour, so our Mondays are going to be 30 minutes, and we actually have a call-in number that we're going to be using that we'll be giving out so people can start calling in and talking on Mondays. It might even have some opportunities during the week, but Tuesday through Friday will be short 10-minute segments, as you saw last week. So that's kind of how we're going to organize this whole deal. So Monday, we've got a little bit more time to breathe and get through some topics. So we want to talk about a few opportunities to connect up in real life, IRL, at a few shows that we'll be at, why we're excited about those shows. We'll go through there's been a lot of transitions and changes. So maybe some best practices on how to network and find some new jobs in the packaging industry. I've seen a lot of people out looking for jobs. I know Cory has as well. And if we have some time, go through our good friend of the show, Paul Jenkins, has an article on Packaging World talking about some new innovations. And so hopefully we can get to that. If we can't, then this is a great opportunity to go through one by one throughout this week and talk about each innovation. So we'll put that on the end and hopefully have some time. Cory, you are an international man of travel. Your passport is well stamped. Obviously, Avelio is as well. He's on assignment in China. So what are some upcoming events? I believe you are going to be in Paris, Texas.
A little east of there, in actual Paris, France.
Oh, it could also be west, by the way.
Yeah, either way. That's the beauty of it. Yeah, all roads lead to Paris. It's Paris Packaging Week is one of my favorite shows of the year. It's every January. This year it's the 28th and 29th in Paris at one of the most amazing venues there. And
the Louvre?
Yeah, it's in the Louvre. We'll be painting boxes the whole time, which is abnormal but exciting. Now, the team at Easy Fairs puts on one of the most elegant shows I go to every year. And it's an opportunity to, like you said, meet new people, expand your network, promote your items that you've invented or you've got in the hopper for new materials. The Brody Vanderdusen and I will be hosting the innovation stage for 2 hours. There'll be 10-minute segments of 20 new companies. talking about their brand new inventions or packaging materials or innovations in the sustainable packaging space.
That's
So
amazing.
it's so cool. I'm so
Like
excited.
TED
And
Talk style, just 10 minutes.
exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Quick. We're going to introduce them. And then, it looks like LinkedIn is
I know. I was just gonna
live.
say, speaking of innovations, breaking
Yeah.
news.
Yeah. Yeah.
The breaking news sound.
Yeah.
We're apparently have some kind of connection to LinkedIn, although the names aren't coming through. So LinkedIn user says good morning,
Good
and then
morning.
another LinkedIn user says good evening. And so
It's a
we're
global
assuming
show. Yep.
it is a global show. And
Yeah.
please drop a comment if you're watching. I guess it's just on my LinkedIn, though. Cory, it's probably not too late to try to connect yours.
I've tried again. I'll continue to try as we go
Okay.
forward.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah, we are. This is a global show, as evidenced by the fact that Avelio again is in China. You and Avelio and Brody will all be attending Paris Packaging Week
That's right.
in en français.
Yeah.
That's not. Oh, and then Chris is joining us here from the YouTubes. So she
Yeah.
did not see it on LinkedIn. Yeah, we're like I said, Chris. It's been a complete mess over here, and we'd love to. We're excited to have Chris if you so desire, be one of our first call-in callers to the Packaging Today show. And my dad is on LinkedIn. Hey, Dad.
OMG. The
Yeah,
original Mr. Peak.
yeah, calling in from the locals call it Motown.
Hmm.
When I was growing up, it was Motown Philly because I was a big Boys to Men fan. But it's Monument, Colorado, which is at 7,200 feet above sea levels where I grew up. I was basically Yeti.
That explains a lot.
It's so the proclivity for wanting to have a nice beard and mustache combo just comes from growing up basically at the top of a mountain.
You're a
Um,
mountain man. I knew it. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And John Gregory coming in. So apparently the LinkedIn connection did work, even though it told us it wouldn't. So hey, John, great to see you from frigid Chicago. I know we talked about at the end of our last show on Friday. There's been so much happening, not packaging related. We won't dive too much into it, but I know there's been a tremendous amount of weather disruptions across the U.S. And then also we have on the opposite end of the scale, we have all of the fires that are going on in Los Angeles, which is obviously devastating. So,
Incredible.
we'll continue to just talk about packaging, but no, we're not naive to what's happening across the U.S. and across the world. My dad corrected me: 7,350. I think that's fake news. I'm pretty sure it's 7,200.
That's way too tall.
That's way
Yeah.
too big. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
way too big.
But should we talk about Spec Summit?
Yeah, so Spec Summit is going to be in Nash Vegas on some dates that are hang on,
February 5th through 7th.
okay, February 5th through the 7th in Nashville. Registration is still open, I believe.
Yes, for a very short amount of time left. So if you're interested in Spec Summit to see Adam and I speak and many more, some of the most talented in the world, talking about different things, people like Michelle Carvel from Lorax and Blake or John Blake, and just these people are institutions in the industry,
Yep.
and they'll all be there. There's so much to learn. You'll learn about specification management and more from SpecRite and their partners.
Yeah, here's what I love about this show. And I'm sure like, shows like the bigger shows, Paris Packaging Week,
Yeah.
Pack Expo, Lux Pack, there's a tremendous amount of value in those shows. There's
Yeah.
also something to these hyper focused, smaller industry events that you can not only get a ton out of. I think about like circularity. I tell this story often when I went to circularity in Seattle. I just had lunch with Michael Dell's daughter. She's runs a fund to help sustainable startups, and we were just sat down for lunch. So the cool part about it is you get a lot of incredible people, like you mentioned. Michelle, I'll be sharing a stage with Prashant at Triac, or Triac rather, talking about LCAs and the importance of LCAs. And here's the deal: all of this content maybe feels like a bit overwhelming, but here's the action. I heard a phrase on Sunday from my dear friend Pastor Cory Hodges talking about how awareness needs to lead to action. And so being aware of all this stuff is super helpful. But if there's no action to it, then there can be no impact.
Right.
And so not only do we need impact from sustainability perspectives and, for the betterment of the earth, but also you need to be aware and take action on everything that's happening with EPR laws. And
Right.
so I know I sound like a commercial and I don't mean to sound like one, but I'm really actually passionate about this. I have meetings with brands constantly. And I'm like, do you know that you have to register with the CAA? And they're like, I don't. And I'm just like, so you are unaware of this, that you need to take action to be registered with the Circular Action Alliance like yesterday. And by the way, you have to now pay taxes
Right.
on your packaging. Like this is no longer just, oh, this is good for marketing. We can kind of green. That's 2025. That stuff is over.
It's
And
time.
so
Right.
I just feel like if you don't know your spec data for packaging, and this is, I don't have anything written down. This isn't some talking point from Spec, right? Just so everybody knows. I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Come on in. Let's come in right here. If you don't have your spec data figured out now, you are in trouble.
Yes.
It's not going to go well for you and your brand.
You are late.
You are late right now. So you have to get registered. You have to be prepared to report on it. If you don't know what the laws are, state by state, country by country, you're not alone. And Lorax EPI does a great job with that as well. If you want to know how to save, how to down gauge, what the impact is going to be from an LCA perspective, TREAC does a great job. They all do a great job with that, but it's all triggered on you knowing your freaking data. So just
you have to know it.
You have to.
And the consequences are huge, potentially, financially and more. I predict there'll be companies that go out of business because they're not paying attention.
Correct.
They're not listening. They don't hear what's going on in the industry. And they just, everything's fine. We'll be fine. Don't worry about it, kid. Well, those days are gone. It's time to take action. Like you said, learn your data, record it, have it easily accessible so you can report it by state, by material. And this is where things like SpecRite come in to help you.
Well, speaking of knowing your data, Chris does. She knows that she is at precisely 6,778 feet in Colorado. Chris. She is roughly 1,498 feet above Denver, which is historically the Mile High City at 5,280. So she must be somewhere up in Niwot, I would guess. If I don't know.
But that sounds made up.
It's not. It's a wonderful, wonderful little town.
I love Colorado. My trips there have been incredibly impressive.
It's above average.
Yeah. A friend of mine lives in Lafayette, and very much above average, literally. Yeah.
Lafayette's good. It's a good name. Famous Mr. Triple Double Denver Nugget, not Nikola Jokic, but Lafayette Lever, aka Fat Lever, number 12, legend, played for the Nuggets. Anyway, yes. So coming out to Spec Summit, not just because it's fun and it will be. SpecRite always does a great job. Not just because we'll get to hang out, which we will be, but most importantly, because of what we just talked about. This is not a nice to have anymore.
Yeah, it's a must.
You have to. It's like it's almost like, hey, I'm in business, but I don't do any accounting.
Right.
I don't know what my P&L is. Like that's how important this is becoming now. So
you have to know your green bottom line. You have to know all these numbers and the data.
Green bottom line.
Dropped it.
Woo! That is a
record it.
Drop.
Mic drop.
Yeah.
And you get to hang out with us, which is really exciting. It's a very limited event. There's only maybe 200 people, I think, total. And there's limited spaces to this event. So be sure to sign up. If you're interested, do it today because I think it will probably sell out.
Yep. So we'll drop a link in as well for that. And then for me, not nearly as prestigious as Paris Packaging Week. but I have a couple of events that will also be coming up. One is like super like niche, but I will be going to Dallas with the team from CERM, CERM,
Hmm.
and they have a CERM user group, which is how the SpecRite Spec Summit started. It was a SpecRite user group, and they're both sort of similar in the sense that one does MIS software for printers. So how does a printer manage their production? Equally as important to
Yeah.
tying into your specs. And so they're out of Belgium. They're making tremendous amount of waves here in the U.S. Also over in Europe. They've been there for a while, and so I'm excited to go hear more about what they're doing. So I'll be in Dallas for that. That's not open to anybody. It's for CERM users. But what is open to a lot of people is the Flexographic Technical Association, the FTA. Uh, I got a mug last time. Viva Las Vegas. I was at their technical conference. This year we'll be in Pittsburgh, and I get to be a keynote speaker. I'll be doing some
Wow.
podcasting from there.
Congratulations. That's
It's
huge.
it's gonna be a ton of fun. So more to come on that show if you're on the East Coast. I believe it's in May, but I'll get the details out for that one.
So many advancements in flexible graphic printing. It's
Flex
flexographic printing. It's
Flexographic.
incredible. Yeah,
Yeah.
so many advancements. I cut my teeth at Weyerhaeuser putting on print plates for flexographic corrugated printing, and it's incredible to see what's happening now, 20 something years later.
I like how you just dropped the something on there. Like, I don't know, but it's been a while.
It's been a few years.
Do you think that the pressure that digital and the technology advancements of digital inkjet, toner-based digital, and then even offset printing has forced flexography to continue to advance? I think so. I think that the competition's great, actually.
I agree, and I think it's all boats rise, and I think this has been good news for the industry. It's made flexographic printing more competitive, less costly, kept that in check, and the quality has improved dramatically with the print plates and the different abilities there. I mean, you're seeing line screen percentage gradients, and it's incredible. You think, whoa, is that litho? And then you look under a loop, and nope, that's flexo.
Yep. Yeah, it's pretty wild. And it's been I think that all printing methods for the most part are going to continue to grow because they're all very necessary. So yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. Well, let's pivot here. This is the segment. Hang on, do I have like segment pivot music? Let's pivot into the networking corner with Cory and Adam.
That was it.
That was it. That was the transition. This is why we need Avelio. We need Avelio to help us transition a little bit better.
Yes.
So before, Cory, we got on, you were talking about how oh, and you were streaming on your LinkedIn as well also.
Yes, I just started, and so it's working. Yay, okay. LinkedIn. Thank you, StreamYard.
Yes. So you were mentioning that you're seeing a bevy.
Yes.
You're seeing a bevy of people either starting new jobs, looking for new jobs, whatever it might be. And we talked last week a little bit about the merger and acquisition activity that we're seeing with SGK and SGS, but also in general, it's been a lot of it. Is that, do you think, what is primarily driving a lot of these job changes? Is it advancements in technology? Is it a combination of all? What are you seeing or hearing?
I think it's a combination. Yeah, absolutely. Oftentimes, Adam and I get asked, and Avelio gets asked from younger people in the industry, what should I focus on? And I always tell them the same thing. Build a network of people that you're actually friends with, and have a real network of people that you trust and that you could rely on in life. There's a bunch of reasons for that. Number one, it's way more fun. Mm-hmm. And number two, you'll have endless number of opportunities. Adam and I and Avelio get job offers all the time. We can do what we want in the industry because we we love this industry and we support it. And we're all happy in our current roles. I know Adam's pivoted recently, but I think that is so important that you have an actual network. Now, that's what I'm seeing. A lot of people are forgetting that you're a brand, your persona. You're going to be known for something, or you're not going to be known at all, and that's a challenge when you're looking for a new career or a new line of work. And I think so. It's an important step in your education of your professional life, that you take the effort to build a network of people that you can trust.
Yeah, I totally agree. And on those lines, I think I would add, with the age of social media, especially for not just for younger people, but for everybody,
For all of us, yeah.
It cuts both ways. And so eh, I'll just say, like, if your brand, if your personal brand has nothing, let's say you want a job in packaging, but you've spent all this time talking about everything other than packaging on your Facebook page or on your Instagram page or whatever it is, or even on LinkedIn, you're just constantly like negative and commenting about stuff, whether
Right.
it's, whatever the topic of the day is. Historically, it tends to be political in nature. There's a lot of discourse online about politics. There, I will say, like, it's not wrong to do that. It's just not advantageous for you when it comes to networking and finding jobs all of the time. And what I mean by that is, I had a friend who told me, like, I have to watch what I say online, not because I don't have opinions, but because there's no upside to it. And
Mm.
so I'm not saying, like, hey, police what you're saying. Like, I'm all for people sharing what they want to share, talking about the things they want to talk about. Big believer in free speech. But understand, my dad's on here, so he raised me with this idea, like, all things are permissible, but not all things are beneficial. And
Mm.
so
Well said.
be wise and aware of what you are putting out there. And so I know for myself and for Cory and for Avelio, like, we really try hard to be positive, not all the
Right.
time. We're going to call out BS when we see BS, but, like, we try to put positive things out there. We try to promote other people. We try to help other people out. And when you give that into a network like LinkedIn or, like, Instagram or whatever it is, when you are giving those things,
Yeah.
then what you receive back oftentimes is a sense of positivity. That's not a karma thing. That's like basic human interactions. It's like, oh, well,
Right.
I want to help that person because they've just been super helpful. It's a power of reciprocity. If all you're giving is negativity and constantly commenting bad, horrible things and tearing people down online, if
Yeah.
that's your MO, understand it's permissible, and it's
Mhm.
probably going to get you a lot of likes and a lot, but what are you going to receive back is probably not going to be that you're
You
going to
you
get
get
the
a
same kind of energy back.
bad reputation. And keep in mind, I hear this a lot. Oh, I post sometimes and I get no likes or anything like that. 90% of people look at social media and don't interact. They're the absorbers. They're going to they just want to see. They're looking at what you're doing. You're motivating people even if you don't know. So, post the post. Say
Yeah.
the thing. Put the picture up of the thing that you saw that was interesting, and see, and you'll get messages, you'll get more followers, it takes a long time. I mean, this has taken us what, 8 or 9 years to build these
It's coming
networks.
up on 13 years in December of me posting on LinkedIn almost daily. And I posted an article. I don't know if you saw
Mm.
that I found from almost 10 years ago. That was, I wrote this whole long article about being the kind of the lone nut and having no followers. And
Oh yeah, I saw that.
I got 1 like on that article from 10 years ago. And that took me a long time to write. I'm not a very gifted writer. It took me a long time to put it all together, and I got 1 like. And so had I stopped and been like, "This is not worth it. I'm putting
Right.
all this time and energy into it," I wouldn't be here. Fast forward to talking about hey, I'm going to be moving into this consulting role. My first
Mm-hmm.
customer is Myers, which is awesome. I'm super stoked to continue to work with the team at Myers. It's been great. But the amount of people who reached out to me and the amount of opportunities that I have now, it's like, okay, I have to say no to some people now
Mm-hmm.
because I'm not going to have time to execute on what they want me to do.
Yeah.
I don't think that ever would have happened had I not been building not just online, but also in real life, going to real life networking events, meeting with
Right.
people in person. Anybody who comes through Salt Lake City, I'm like, hit me up on my cell phone. If I
Mm-hmm.
can, I'll make time for you. Um, my good friend is a pilot for Delta. He lives in Montana. When he's like here on call in Salt Lake City, I'm like, we have a home. Just come stay here.
Yeah.
Um, he just cried like he's going back to the airport today. He stayed with us the last few nights.
That's so
So
cool.
just be real in real life and be that same real person online, and I think you'll have a lot of success.
Well said. And yeah, don't be fake. Don't try to make a persona. Just be who you are, and keep it positive and honest, and you're gonna have a great, uh, you know, career full of opportunities. I didn't start social media until I was 40 years old,
Yeah, which
and
was 17 years ago? Eight,
no, no,
no, 25 years ago?
no,
No,
negative,
5, sorry, 5 years.
no,
2.
close around there.
All right, around
Yeah.
between 2 and 25 years ago, Cory started out social.
It's the opportunities don't stop at a certain age is the point of that. So if you're in, the middle of your life and you're confused about what to do, start fresh, do something different. Start
Yeah.
talking about that, learn about it, be the expert in that field. Yeah.
I'll give an example. So I found out on if you follow me on Instagram, I'm so sorry. Because I found out on Instagram like packaging content, not great.
Yeah.
Even on like Twitter or X, not very good. It's just kind of there. If you follow Will over at IQ Bar on LinkedIn, his content kills it on LinkedIn. He's great. He'll repost the same things on Twitter, and it's like 2 people comment.
Hmm.
Usually it's me. And so I decided to start talking about Utah high school basketball on LinkedIn and on Twitter. And
Which is
just
another passion of yours. Yep.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And so, but the amount of people now that I get to interact with and I get to meet is crazy because I just put out content that is not self-serving, but is about other people.
Right.
Helping out other people, I think, is the best way to build a good, solid brand. If all you do is self-promote, people get tired of it,
Right.
honestly. And it's limited. There's only so much you can talk about yourself. It's way more fun to help other people. That's what I think.
I agree. Well said.
Um, well, we only have a few minutes left here. I think what we should do is take this article, break it down over the week.
Yeah.
I know Velio is going to be out in China for most of this week, so we can go through 3 of these innovations, kind of talk about what they are. We've got like a Red Bull aluminum bottle. There's what was the other? Oh, a Chick-fil-A party pack in the shape of a football, and then there's like a Brazilian cheese packaging innovation. So there's always stuff to talk about in packaging. I was at Costco on Sunday. My wife's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Taking photos and videos." Literally, if
of
you have
of packaging.
of
Cool.
packaging, if you have a phone and you're working in packaging and you go to a store, you will have content forever. I mean, honestly, it's just endless the amount of things you can talk about if you're willing to be curious and engage. So I think everyone should go, try it. Try
Yeah,
it. Go to your local grocery store, go to a Whole Foods, go to a Trader Joe's, and just find interesting stuff and then say why it's interesting.
I agree.
It's not hard. So we'll definitely dig in and talk about that. Cory, how do people connect with you? They probably already know who you are, but how do they connect with you anyways?
Yeah, reach out on LinkedIn. Believe it or not, we actually respond to messages, and I think that's something that a lot of people don't know. We are very good at blocking people that immediately try to sell us things, but we are also very good at responding to people that are actually looking for help,
Yep.
or need connection to somebody that we know.
I don't block all the people. I let the sales process play out just to see what it is so I can learn. But
I
I
put them in
eventually
other. I don't block them.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I put archive.
Yeah.
And it's the worst. Don't do that, everybody. It's just
Yeah.
so bad. I don't know who's answering these. I don't know who's telling you that it's a good idea. It's not a good idea. Just connect, like be a real person when you write somebody. It's my
Right. Act like you're meeting them in person at an
yes.
event and say,
That would be a fun
"Hey,
video.
you know,
What
like."
if we did a video where we pretended like we were the LinkedIn spam at a real event?
We should do that at Spec Summit.
At Specs, we should make a
Yeah.
video
Yeah.
meeting some people for the first time and putting
Yes.
together some just like, "Oh, hey, good to meet you. Hi, I'm Adam. I don't know if you know this, but
Are you
here's
aware of
here's a
my
PDF.
capabilities?
By the way, here's my calendar. Love to
Right.
connect with you for 1 hour, maybe 90 minutes of your time."
Would you like to sign up right now?
30 seconds later, just like, "Hey, I haven't heard back from you."
Yeah. Right. I see you're busy. Did you miss this?
Yeah, yeah. This is my final attempt. I don't
Right.
even know. That'd be
I've
great.
tried 4 times now.
Oh, so
Yeah.
bad. Thanks everybody for joining. Sorry about the lack of intro and outro that Avelia's worked so hard on. We'll try to get that for tomorrow. But join us every single weekday, Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. Mountain Time at 6,778 feet or 7,350 feet or whatever your
Whatever
elevation
elevation you're at. Yeah.
will be at 8:30 Mountain Time right here on the internet.
We
Thanks everybody.
support all the elevations, right, Adam?
All the elevations and time zone.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Chris. We'll wrap it up here. Appreciate the you always bring the positivity as
Thanks,
well.
Chris.
So put it out in the world and it will come back to you. Thanks everybody. Make it a great week.